Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about 2 heroes from each role and 2 honorable mentions that the pros are currently using and winning on. I'm going to be taking most of the numbers that I have for this video from Dota2ProTracker.com. It's a website that I'm not sponsored by or anything like that. It's just, I use it a lot. I think it's great for getting replays. I constantly tell my students to use it, and so yeah. I definitely recommend checking it out. It gives you a very good vibe of what the pros think is good, what the pros are using, and so you can use them in your pubs as well. Honestly, I wish I knew to use this. But nonetheless, what I also wish I knew is to smash the like button on GameLeap videos. And believe it or not, guys, I actually didn't like all of the old GameLeap videos before I was part of GameLeap, which I heavily regret. I think it really stunted my growth as a person. And you know what also stunted my growth? Not getting a GameLeap sub. Crazy. I could be a millionaire by now. Instead, I'm a billionaire. I also wanted to let you know of a couple more things that are going on the GameLeap website. I've been putting in a lot of work as of late, recently created a CM course I'm very happy with. And the most important thing I'm excited to announce, which is not actually the first time announcing it, I think I said it in one of the past videos, is I'm recording the coaching sessions, all my private, not all, a large majority of my coaching sessions upcoming. And we're going to be posting them to the GameLeap website. So you're going to get free sessions that usually cost quite a bit of money. You get them for free over on this site. You know, as long as it applies to your role, and trust me, there'll be a lot of different roles. It should help you get to Immortal, and I hope to see you guys there. So go sign up down below. All right, so let's hop right into it, starting off with these safe lane heroes. We're just going to be bouncing around a little bit, so bear with me. But the 2 safe lane heroes that are particularly good right now are SPECTRE and Void. Now, I'm sure you're not surprised to hear SPECTRE, and some of you who watch the pro scene are probably not surprised to be hearing about FACELESS Void. SPECTRE, I'm going to make it very simple. This hero does not lose around the 30 or 40 minute mark when he has 4 or 5 items. SPECTRE just seems unkillable, even when he has 2 items with drums and manta or some variation of that build. SPECTRE seems insane. The fact that Haunt was buffed where the illusions hit right away now, and Dispersion was buffed not too long ago to do a bit more damage, was tweaked a bit, but still does a bit more damage than it did in the past, and it's easier to use as the search radius is lower, which is a good thing. Yeah, all of a sudden, SPECTRE has just become ridiculous. I think this Drums Manta build is ridiculous. There's no other word for me to use, and yeah, even the pros are winning on it. Very often I see SPECTRE as this hero that kind of just dominates pubs, but doesn't necessarily dominate the pro scene or pro pubs. But that's definitely not the case right now. SPECTRE has a 55% win rate on Dota2ProTracker and is the 4th most picked hero, something you don't see a lot. And then we have FACELESS Void, and I think FACELESS Void can go a lot of different items right now. I'm not going to try to give you guys one pinpointed route. You can go Mom Maelstrom. I think the more popular build, however, is Midas variants like Tread, Wraithband, Midas into Yasha, or the other stat-based build, the Thompson-based build, which I talked about in a recent video, so I won't harp too much on it. I also made a video talking about SPECTRE not too long ago. But you go Treads, Stats, maybe a Wand, into Sanjin Yasha, then you split the Sanjin Yasha into a Halberd and into a Manta, you're unkillable, you do an absurd amount of damage, and you play Void like a frontliner. It is really, really good right now. And I think the hero pairs very well with a lot of the supports that I like, whether it be Mirana, Phoenix, Shakiro. I think there's just a lot of really nice Void combos that you can pick right now, even something like a mid-invoker, which is pretty strong. Even a Quap, right? I think there's a lot of just great combos to pair right now. Void can play very high tempo, even without his ult, and so yeah, those are your 2 safe lane heroes. Next up, let's get into the position 5 role. I know bouncing around a little bit, but for the position 5 role, I have BANE and WYVERN. BANE and WYVERN just seem to be 2 of the higher win rate heroes on Dota2ProTracker, both with a fair amount of games, WYVERN with 800, BANE with 1,000. I would say on average, typical hero on this website typically has 400 or 500 matches, so obviously pretty high. But getting back to the point, I think WYVERN right now is just such a good counter pick to a lot of the physical damage carries that we're seeing. Even a hero like SPECTRE, while WYVERN is definitely not a SPECTRE counter, in fact I would argue that WYVERN can fall victim to SPECTRE's haunts, like any support. You know, WYVERN can curse against a lot of the right-click carries. Right, and that's kind of the trend right now. We see a lot of Sven, Terrorblade, Juggernaut, Void. WYVERN counters all of those heroes very hard. Just the E is a hard counter to Void. Someone gets chronoed, E them up, maybe throw on a Glimmer Cape on top of that, and they're fine. And of course, Winter's Curse, and even your Qs and slows to kite out these heroes is very potent. The only problem with Wyvern, especially in lower MR pubs, is the pure fact that the hero is hard to play. Using its ultimate is very difficult. The E can grief, but also be the best spell in the game. And so yeah, Wyvern is kind of just a weird hero. And then Bane. Bane's been solid for a while. I don't think Bane is insane, but with the resurgence of the Animators, the Jugs, the TVs, the Spectres, having these lane dominating supports is really good, and the lack of, shrines and also their mobility causes Bane to be really good at catching split pushers, which is great in high MMR games. There's a lot more split farming and split pushing in high MMR games than in your typical 2 to 3k MMR, and so yeah, Bane's a bit better in that regard. Next up, let's talk about the offlane role, and we have Doom and Veno, and these heroes, in my opinion, are by far two of the best heroes in this current meta. Veno continues to impress me every single game, and I genuinely believe if you watch and copy every little portion of a professional player, which I actually recently made a video about. I talk about the builds you can go on Veno, go check it out. If you copy and watch what they do in the laning stage and emulate their playstyle, you're just gonna snowball. You just become another core, and that's what I love about Veno. Just play your game, don't gank, win your lane, stay in an area, spam your plague wards, farm every camp in the vicinity, prevent all ganks by putting down plague wards on high grounds, and control an area. You will shut down the carry's farm, you will get super farmed, and then in mid to late game teamfights, your goal is simple. Put down a ward to get vision, ulti when you're next to heroes, and gale them as well. And then we have Doom. Doom's just good right now. He buys a ring of protection and a ring of regen and then a soul ring and then a bracer, and he's like completely unkillable, and the new Devour buff is good for him, and it also makes him unkillable, and then that's about it. You buy your drums, you run around, and you slap people down. Alright, next up we have the 4 role. And yeah, I actually want to quickly talk about Tony, who actually only has a 50% win rate. It's the most picked hero in the pro scene, not in the pro scene, in pro pubs. And I think the reason for that is he's just so fun. Tiny's one of those heroes that's just really, really enjoyable. However, in your average pub, Tiny kind of just feeds. So keep that in mind, guys. Tiny can just be like, if you're really bad at him and you can't use toss properly, which takes a lot of practice to get down, well, or even just understanding the differences between Avalanche and Toss. Well, actually, Bowie made a video on it recently that was good, so I recommend checking that out. But nonetheless, I think Tiny is solid right now if you know how to play him properly. So if you're going to play him, you want to get into him, spam him in unranked for a bit, otherwise you're going to perish. And then we have Mirana. I just think Mirana is one of those heroes that is so good, especially in pubs. Like, just having that factor of turning all your teammates invis is so game-winning in pubs, Being coordinated is like the hardest thing in Dota, and is the biggest thing that separates one pro team from the next, or a tier 2 team from a tier 1 team, or a tier 1 from a tier 3 team, and so on. It's coordination, and coordinating against Mirana is so hard. Ganking her is hard. Killing your teammates when they're all ultied is hard, right? Even if you have the proper detection, it's very difficult, right? It's very, very difficult to synergize when you don't get that initial information against Mirana. And yeah, the fact that she can farm, has a very reliable laning stage, and the fact that you can just arrow the range creep to win the lane, yeah, Mirana's pretty good. The pros clearly think so as well. And yeah, pick her with Faceless Void. It's a very, very long stun. And finally, for mid lane, we have Magnus and LINA. Magnus, I've been harping on a lot. I've even made videos. I made a live game talking about Magnus, so I will not say much about this hero. Go watch my live commentary on Magnus if you're interested in being the fastest farmer in Dota. And yeah, the hero has a 52% win rate and is one of the most picked heroes at the moment as well. And then secondly, most surprising, is LINA. Is this hero incredibly good? No, I would say it's like I think it's underrated and has potential. I'm saying that because I'm not sold on it, but the hero has a 53% win rate as of late in the pro pubs, and it is being played as a 4 and a mid. I've seen CC&C playing it quite a lot mid. If he continues to win on it, who knows? Maybe I'll make a video. Let me know in the comment section down below if I should do that, or in general what I should do. Just give me video ideas, and yeah, I'll pick some at some point or another. And then finally, last but not least, we have some honorable mentions, and I just want to quickly talk about RIKI and Viper. The reason why I like these heroes right now is I think both of them are underrated, and they have 57% win rates on Dota Pro Tracker, which is pretty crazy. 57% is a really, really high number, right? That's like Clink's before he got nerfed hard. You know, that was like Klink's in the update. Actually, Klink's was like 59% or 60. That was so dumb when the hero originally came out. It was so dumb. But yeah, Klink's has been nerfed. Let's not talk about Klink's. I think RIKI, with all the stats that you can buy right now and like Wraithbands being pretty good, at least in my opinion, even bracers on RIKI doesn't sound too bad. You can just sit in your lane and just bully people out. And the hero's really good in pubs. So I always love recommending RIKI to people, especially if you're 2-3k MMR and you don't feel like you're that good at farming yet, but you want to fight a lot. That's what RIKI's good at. You know, the typical pub meta favors RIKI. Lack of coordination and very split up bad fights where people are just constant glass cannons with their item builds. RIKI feasts on that. And you might be saying, well, Speed, then how does this have anything to do with pro pubs? You know, I don't think it necessarily does. The hero still feeds off a lack of coordination, which does exist even in the highest of MMR games. Trust me, guys. You know, especially as the RIKI player gets better, then you need even more coordination to kill him, right? It kind of balances out, and therefore it still applies in pub settings. So yeah, I think RIKI's pretty good right now. And Diffusal Menta, even drums makes a lot of sense on the hero. And talking about drums, Viper! Viper buys drums. Drums is such a good item for Viper. It prevents him from getting kited, as it gives him movement speed, it gives him mana regen, it gives him stats, it gives him attack speed. What better item is there than drums on Viper? And I really like the idea of going treads into a Wraithband, into a Wand, into drums, into Dragonlance, and being the strongest mid-game hero in Dota. I'm not kidding, if you buy those items in that order, you will do an absurd amount of damage and be ridiculously hard to kill on top of that. And yeah, that's where we're going to end the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what heroes you think are best in the comment section down below and give a reasoning. Don't just say, I think it's Juggernaut. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace. Before you leave, just want to say a quick message. If you're trying to get better at Dota or you just enjoyed that video, I know this is pretty general, and you're going to hear this quite a bit from me. But I recommend you sign up to GameLeap.com. Why? Because I put a lot of effort into the content over there, and generally the effort I do there is different from the content you're going to see here on YouTube. It is different. In fact, I usually go a lot more in depth on topics or into niche topics that help you get to the next level even faster. Because on YouTube, I often have to keep it more mainstream. And that's even why I'm putting it at the end of this YouTube video. That's why this is at the end, because a lot of people just watch 5 minutes, they skip through just for like the dopamine spike. But if you are interested in actually getting better at Dota, I recommend you go to the description down below, get your discount right now by clicking the link, sign up, use the discount code that you're going to see there, and I hope to see you there right now. So click it, and yeah, thanks for watching.